This is Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Joe Reed, and I have the founder of AudioFile with me, Robin Whitten. And today is a big day around here, isn't it, Robin?
Oh, it is. It's probably one of our favorite days of the year, I would say. The day we announce the what we think are the best audiobooks of 2024.
Excellent. And audiobooks just keep continuing to grow and grow and grow. And the caliber of work out there is really kind of astounding.
It is, and I think, our theme a little bit of our theme this year is the universe of audiobooks because, as you say, it keeps expanding, and we see so many new voices, styles of audiobooks coming along. It's really quite exciting, but we try to pick, sorry for the pun, the stellar audiobooks, the most stellar audiobooks as our choices for the best.
Okay, now let's just do a little bit of logistics. How many audiobooks do you review a year? How many end up being named best of, and how do you arrive at those decisions?
Well, we actually review about almost 2,500 audiobooks in any given year. And that's a lot. That keeps us busy. It keeps all of our 75 plus reviewers working all the time, all year long. When we come down to trying to pick our best of the year, we try to aim for about 50 titles. Now, that's hard. In any universe, that's hard.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that we try very much to do is find audiobooks that are uniquely audio in the sense that if you're a reader or a listener, when you experience that program, you're going to get something extra. That may seem very simple to us because we know that the narrators give so much into the whole experience, but some audiobooks are more uniquely audio.
I would agree. And how are you doing with are all the best of, are they all earphones winners?
I think pretty much all of them are earphones winners. That's a certain standard that we set just to start to help us find the very best. And, you've got things in our group like an oral history of D-Day when the sea came alive. I mean, that just isn't the same if it was in print or you experience the text copy. And also, of course, we always love our memoirs from people like Stan Tucci and What I Ate in One Year. I mean, really, would you really want to read that instead of hearing him tell you that? I don't think so. Anyway, that's the kind of really uniquely audio and exceptional audio books that we pick.
Okay, so should we start talking about the categories? You said how many categories?
Right, we have 9 categories, and actually, we repeat the same categories year to year in most cases, but this year we have one that we've called multi-voice, which is a group of really exceptional titles that are all done by either an ensemble of narrators or with a cast. And with a cast, when I use that, we usually talk about how that's an interaction between the narrators, where an ensemble might be just a certain character performed by one narrator and then another narrator, or a certain story with one narrator. But with a cast, you've got the interaction.
And I see. So that's what's going on. So that's multi-voice, and we're seeing a lot of those this year. I've seen more multi-voice this year than I think I ever have before.
I think you're right, and we really wanted to recognize that because I think that's something we are seeing more of, and the publishers are experimenting with different ways of doing that with great success. And then we've got biography, memoir, mystery. We've got all our standards, young adult and children, family listening. So, really, there's always going to be a great selection for people with all kinds of listening interests.
So tell us what we're going to be listening to as we tune into Behind the Mic for the next 9 days.
Well, right now, as of this morning, our lists of all the audiobooks are available on the audiofilemagazine.com website with reviews and sound clips. But we're doing quite a lot of special features over the next 9 days. Our publisher, Michelle Cobb, will be talking to one narrator from each of the categories in a special conversation for Behind the Mic.
Oh, that'll be so much fun.
Very fun. So we have some really great favorites, golden voices, Julia Whelan, Eduardo Ballerini, and Dion Graham. Plus, there'll be 6 other narrators that maybe, listeners aren't as familiar with, but it's a great way to hear their thoughts about these award-winning titles.
Oh, and it's also a great way to help you make a decision about which out of the 54 out of the 2000
That's right.
you might want to listen to or gift somebody.
Right. And the other thing we have with for Behind the Mic is we've made a little playlist that is available on Spotify that is all of the episodes throughout the year where you have spoken to one of us about these various titles. So it covers even more of the titles.
Oh my god, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So
because if something piques your interest, but you just wanna know a little bit more about it, you can just go to the playlist.
absolutely. And, I have to say, we're pretty good at picking some of these really great audiobooks and have already done an entire episode on. Certainly, you and I have done a lot of those mysteries.
I bet we have too. So it's kind of like our version of, "And let's go to the videotape here."
Right, right. So I want to know what your favorites are from the year. That's my big question for the day.
Oh, mine, my personal favorites.
Yes, your personal favorites.
Okay, so I'm gonna begin with Case Histories by Kate Atkinson, narrated by Susan Jameson, and this is kind of a backlist one. It's the first Jackson Brodie book. Now, Death at the Sign of the Rook, narrated by Jason Isaacs, came out this year, which of course is wonderful, but I realized I had never listened to Case Studies, and I really love Jackson Brodie, and I had to do something about that. So, I am listening to that even as we speak.
Oh, great. Well, it's I think there's always a little of love the one you're with when you're asking someone what is your favorite audiobook. It's like, "Oh, the one I'm really enjoying right now."
Yeah, I know there is a lot of that, isn't it? And Susan Jameson is a really, really good narrator for this.
Nice, nice.
And Jackson Brodie, dogs figure prominently for
Of course,
Jackson,
of
as
course.
they do with my second one, A Grave in the Woods by Martin Walker, narrated brilliantly yet again by Robert Ian Mackenzie. And it's Bruno, chief of police in Saint Denis in the Perigord, who has his dog, a basset hound named Balzac, as well as a horse named Hector. And it's the extraordinary food, the beautiful countryside, all the wine, his circle of quirky, devoted friends, and yeah, there's a mystery to solve too.
Of course, of course. Well, you have to have all the other accoutrements. Yeah.
So those are my 2 mysteries that I just love. What about you?
Nice.
What do you
Well, I was trying to pick from this list that we've just released. So, I mean, because of course, if you ask me the what I'm listening to right this minute, actually, what I'm listening to right this minute is on our list because I am listening to Percival Everett's James with the amazing Dominic Hoffman.
which is brilliant. He did such a brilliant job with that
He
book.
did, and, it just won the National Book Award, so I'm like, "Ah, I need to listen to this." So
Yeah, it's a tough listen, but it's really, really
very
good.
tough, but he did such a beautiful job,
Yeah,
and, when you think about we're talking about this uniquely audio piece, the dialect that he uses and his, does he call it slave speech? Where he changes his whole conversation that you I just can't imagine actually trying to hear that
yeah.
from text because and Dominic does it so beautifully because we hear it.
Yeah, Dominic does it really well. It's and oddly enough, I am one of my other favorites is Percival is written by Percival Everett's wife, Danzy Senna, colored television,
Mhm.
and that's narrated by Kristen Ariza, and that is a very dark comedy, and it's so funny about ambition and reinvention. It is fabulous, and you will
Ah,
laugh.
okay. All right. Well, the other couple titles that I just wanted to include that are on our list are 2 of the children's and family titles, because I think that's really great at this time of year. Families are traveling or trying to find extra entertainment to divert the children. Olivetti, which is that wonderful story of the charming and wise typewriter, narrated by Simon Vance, and Impossible Creatures, which we talked about not too many weeks ago, which is an extraordinary story of
Oh, that's
magical
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
creatures and 2 children on a wonderful quest, but very much in the vein of Tolkien and Philip Pullman, and really beautifully narrated by Samuel West.
Well, I have a variation on a children's book, which is Toto by A.J. Hackworth, narrated by Andre Santana. And we're basically getting the Wizard of Oz story from Toto's perspective. And oh my god.
I love
And
it.
I
What a
can
great
I just
idea.
want to read a quote from it because it'll give you a sense of the book. This is all in Toto's voice. If it's a choice between Oz with its creepy little singing dudes and being behind bars in gray old Kansas, I'll choose the place where the animals talk and run the show for now. Thanks. Trust me, little dogs can get away with anything. It
Wonderful.
is wonderful. It really is. So I'm two mysteries, two humorous books.
Nice. Well, there's so many good choices in all of these audiobooks. I'm sure that our listeners are going to find all kinds of gifts, as well as a to be listened to list that will go on well into the new year.
And I also just want to say, I think right now, so many people are kind of obsessed with news and kind of doom scrolling. And I have truly found audiobooks to be a lifesaver. It just gets me out of, sort of a political spin cycle
Hmm.
and into whole new worlds and possibilities and wonderful performances and brilliant writing, and I cannot recommend audiobooks enough right now.
As we always do, but particularly now.
Yeah, exactly. Robin, I am looking forward to the next 9 days.
It will be full of all kinds of wonderful audiobooks as usual, but extra special in these coming weeks.
Absolutely. Robin, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in 10 days.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Thank you. This episode of Behind the Mic is made possible by Brilliance Publishing. Don't forget to follow Behind the Mic wherever you get your podcasts, and then make sure you leave us a rating because it really does help people to find us. I'm Joe Reed, and I'll talk to you in 10 days.